In the modern game, defensive tactics have moved well beyond traditional schemes and effort-based principles. Today's elite defense is shaped by technique, timing, and data-driven insights. One area undergoing a major transformation is the act of taking a charge. In this video, you'll see curated game examples that highlight the wide range of scenarios where charges can be drawn, helping players and coaches better understand how, when, and why to use this defensive tool effectively. Each clip serves as a potential teaching edit to support the development of smarter, more anticipatory defenders who can manipulate space and disrupt offensive rhythm. The examples span multiple categories, including charges taken in transition, on-ball situations like downhill drives, pick-and-roll actions, middle drives, post-ups, and when defenders sag off the ball handler. You'll also see off-ball charges drawn from rotations against pick-and-roll coverage, middle drives, wing drives, and baseline drives. These scenarios demonstrate the diversity and tactical value of charges, not just as momentum-shifting plays, but as intentional, teachable moments that reflect high defensive IQ, system understanding, and individual courage. There are two primary ways to draw more charges in today's game. The first is the Helpside Charge. This requires off-the-ball defenders to rotate off-ball with strong awareness and anticipation. Helpside defenders aim to step in and absorb contact from cutters or drivers. It demands exceptional off-ball awareness and anticipation from defenders who rotated into position to absorb contact from cutters or drivers. This concept extends to various scenarios where off-ball defenders can step in and draw a charge. During pick-and-roll actions where the screener's defender rotates to cut off the ball handler, against a middle drive where a weak side defender can slide into position when defending a wing drive and a help side defender anticipates the penetration, and especially on a baseline drive, where a defender from the weak side corner or block can step up to take the contact. In all these situations, a crucial, subtle tip is to teach players to watch the offensive player's eyes rather than just their hips. Their eyes reveal intent, whether they're looking for a pass or committed to the drive, providing the split-second edge needed to position effectively and draw the charge. At the heart of this evolution is the marriage of technical execution with tactical purpose. Teaching a player to take a charge involves far more than planting their feet and absorbing contact. It begins with recognizing offensive tendencies and driving angles, and continues through positioning that shapes the ball handler's decisions even before the moment of impact. Success relies on early help rotation, smart angles of approach, and the ability to maintain a legal guarding position while selling verticality. When embedded into defensive systems like peel switches or early gap support, the charge becomes a proactive tool, not a reactive bailout. Modern defensive schemes are increasingly built around coordinated trio actions where three defenders work in concert to bait drives, rotate early, and funnel penetration into help zones. These systems demand precise instruction and carefully structured drills that replicate game speed, offensive reads, and defensive responses. Analytics have added a new layer of depth to how charges are valued. Each successful charge creates a turnover, draws a foul, and often leads to a shift in momentum. Defensive data now tracks everything from turnover percentage and defensive efficiency per possession to points saved per defensive event. Though less frequent than contests or deflections, charges carry outsized value, especially when taken against key creators or in transition. Teams now analyze player tendencies to identify effective charge takers, evaluating their footwork, anticipation timing, and ability to occupy space effectively. Even when a charge isn't drawn, a well-positioned defender who rotates early and legally can still alter decisions and influence possession outcomes. This indirect impact can be measured with shot quality metrics and expected possession value, helping coaches identify and empower their highest IQ defenders within structured systems. Taking a charge has evolved into a legitimate tactical weapon. When taught with clarity and reinforced by analytical validation, it can elevate the ceiling of a team's defense. The defensive culture shifts from reaction to anticipation, from grit to strategy. Coaches must now rethink how they design drills, what they emphasize in film sessions, and how they measure success beyond the traditional box score. Mastering the art of drawing a charge can change a game by shifting momentum, placing opponents in foul trouble, and inspiring a team with a single act of discipline and toughness. Charges matter beyond the whistle. A drawn charge places a foul on the offensive player, which can lead to foul trouble and strategic limitations for the opposing coach. It can shift the emotional energy of the game, energizing the bench and crowd. It also contributes toward reaching the bonus, creating more opportunities for free throws. Coaches often say, "No points have ever been scored from the bench, and forcing a key player to sit can change the entire dynamic of a game." The second way to draw charges, and now the most effective and frequent type in modern basketball, is the on-ball charge. This demands elite footwork and body control, where the defender utilizes a cushion slide, moving laterally and slightly backward to maintain legal guarding position. The critical aspect is to meet the offensive player with your chest, beating them to the spot rather than directly to the player. This applies to various on-ball situations, taking a charge on a downhill drive directly at the defender, against a pick-and-roll P/R ball handler who turns the corner directly into the defender's path, on a straight middle drive where the defender stays perfectly in front, when guarding a post-up player who attempts to back down or spin into contact, and even when sagging off an offensive handler, anticipating their drive and stepping in as they commit. In all these situations, a crucial, subtle tip is to teach players to watch the offensive player's eyes rather than just their hips. Their eyes reveal intent, whether they're looking for a pass or committed to the drive, providing the split-second edge needed to position effectively and draw the charge. The art of the on-ball charge is especially nuanced. It begins with scouting and positioning. Defenders must understand their matchup and anticipate where they'll need to be to meet contact legally. Physicality throughout the game builds pressure on offensive players and sets the tone. As the ball handler approaches the arc, defenders need to be ready to engage, especially near the foul line where help is limited and drives become more linear. Defenders must also read the offense. If the opponent is a faster driver, more space may be needed to absorb the move legally. If they're not particularly quick, increased pressure could force a mistake. A well-timed closeout can lead to the push-off charge, where the offensive player extends their off-arm to create separation. Similarly, if given too much space, an offensive player might lower their shoulder and drive. The defender must be ready to square up just as that shoulder drops. Ultimately, drawing a charge is not just about toughness, it's about intelligence, anticipation, and timing. It reflects a disciplined, system-based defensive approach that prioritizes outcomes over aesthetics. The best defensive teams in today's game are using charges as part of their arsenal, not just as a stopgap, but as a planned and practiced strategy. While some may scoff at the tactic, the numbers and the results speak for themselves. In a sport where every possession counts, mastering the charge could be the difference between winning and losing. If you found these defensive insights helpful, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more basketball breakdowns, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next upload.